13 tornadoes swept across Turkey. A large-scale forest fire raged in Poland. In Japan, May brought both summer heat and winter cold at the same time. And in Indonesia, a volcano turned into a deadly trap for tourists. See what the past week was like for the planet in this episode. United States. Over southern Mississippi on May 6th, conditions formed for the development of supercells. Warm, humid air from the Gulf of Mexico interacted with strong winds at altitude, resulting in the formation of several powerful tornadoes. The strongest blows from the disaster hit Lamar, Lincoln, and Franklin counties. The situation was especially severe in the area of the cities of Brookhaven and Bogue Chitto. There, the United States National Weather Service issued a warning of the highest level, which is declared when there is a threat of catastrophic damage and loss of life. Eyewitnesses reported that many tornadoes were almost completely hidden by heavy rain, causing people to notice them too late, which makes such vortices especially dangerous. According to radar data, one of the tornadoes lifted debris to a height of more than 8 kilometers, comparable to the height of Mount Everest. This indicates the colossal power of the vortex and an extremely strong updraft. Such phenomena occur relatively rarely and lead to serious destruction. In the affected areas, more than 400 homes were damaged, while at least 17 people were injured. Eyewitnesses recalled sheltering in bathrooms and under furniture, trying to protect children while powerful winds tore off roofs and broke the walls of their homes. The tornadoes completely destroyed almost all mobile homes in trailer parks. Rescue operations continued throughout the night. Emergency services inspected destroyed buildings, provided assistance to the injured, and cleared roads of debris. Fortunately, despite such large-scale destruction, there were no fatalities. Turkey. On May 3rd, Turkey faced powerful downpours, thunderstorms, hail, strong winds, and a record number of tornadoes. The European Severe Weather Database reported the formation of 13 tornadoes, 9 of which were very powerful, reaching IF2 category. The scale of the damage is impressive. Trees uprooted, power line poles toppled, residential and agricultural buildings destroyed, and animals injured. The hardest hit area was Sanliurfa province, where 7 tornadoes were recorded during the storm. In the Viran-Sehir district, the vortex destroyed 2 wedding halls and a football field covering 6,500 square meters. The damage exceeded $2 million. A wedding was supposed to take place in one of these halls, which was designed for 2,000 guests, but the event had been canceled several days before the tornado, which helped avoid a tragedy. The region's agriculture also suffered serious damage from the tornadoes and hail. More than 1,200 hectares of pistachio plantations were damaged. Garlic and wheat crops were also seriously affected. The disaster in Sanliurfa claimed the life of 1 person, and another 40 people were injured. In Mardin province, an IF2 tornado destroyed panels at a wind solar power plant and flipped over a residential container for workers several times. 4 people inside were injured and hospitalized. In Gaziantep province, a tornado lifted a minibus several meters above the ground and then threw it off the road. The passengers were injured and the vehicle sustained significant damage. Another IF2 tornado crossed the border with Syria, traveled about 7 kilometers, and caused significant damage to infrastructure and agricultural land in the Elbili district of Kilis province. It should be noted that the number of tornadoes and waterspouts in Turkey is increasing extremely rapidly, effectively exponentially, as clearly shown on the graph. For comparison, from the beginning of 2020 to May 10th, 2026, the total number of such events in the country exceeded the figures for the previous 20 years. At the same time, not only their number is increasing, but also their intensity, as confirmed by the current tornado outbreak. No less shocking for residents of many provinces of Turkey was the May snowfall. In the highland areas of Düzce, the snowfall brought 60 centimeters of snow. Equipment was deployed to clear the roads. In Afyon-Karahisar province, snowfall and icing disrupted traffic on key regional highways connecting the western regions of the country. Classes were cancelled in schools in several districts.
Yolda kalan belediye otobüsü.
Agriculture suffered damage due to sudden temperature swings and unseasonal snowfall. In Mersin province, the snow cover reached 10 centimeters in some places, damaging blooming cherry and peach orchards. Anti-hail nets installed to protect the plantings could not withstand the weight of the snow and were destroyed, while some of the trees were broken. According to local residents, they had never observed such a natural phenomenon in May before. Spain. On May 4th, a series of severe thunderstorms with downpours and hail hit the northeastern regions of Spain, with the greatest damage occurring in Aragon, especially in Zaragoza province. In the municipality of Gallur, intense hail continued for almost 40 consecutive minutes. As a result of the disaster, more than 300 hectares of potato, corn, barley, and alfalfa crops were destroyed, causing serious damage to agriculture. In the region of Cantabria, on May 5th, the A67 highway was covered with hailstones several centimeters in diameter, making the asphalt dangerously slippery and causing a multi-vehicle accident involving 16 cars. However, the most dangerous situation developed on May 7th in the southeast of the country. Mediterranean thunderstorms poured out an amount of precipitation comparable to a monthly norm in just a few hours. In the municipality of Los Alcazares, in the region of Murcia, precipitation reached 140 millimeters. The streets turned into fast-moving streams, flooding parking lots, tunnels, and the first floors of buildings. Classes were cancelled in several municipalities of the Mar Minor area, and students were evacuated from one school. Poland. On May 5th, a forest fire broke out in Lublin Voivodeship and spread into the Solska Forest, one of Poland's largest forested areas, with centuries-old pine forests, peatlands, and rare species of fauna. Within several hours, the fire rapidly engulfed more than 500 hectares of forest. This was facilitated by extremely dry forest litter, strong gusty winds, and high air temperatures. For several days, typically summer-like heat of up to plus 27 degrees Celsius was observed. The dense pine forests made the situation especially dangerous. The flames quickly rose from the forest litter into the tree crowns, turning into a crown fire that spread at high speed. Firefighting forces from almost across the entire country took part in extinguishing the blaze. More than 800 firefighters, over 200 units of equipment, as well as drones with thermal imaging cameras and aircraft. The work was complicated by the difficult passage through the swampy terrain, the small number of forest roads, and heavy smoke. During the firefighting operation, a tragedy occurred. A firefighting aircraft crashed, and its pilot was killed. Experts note that large forest fires were previously associated mainly with Spain, Greece, Portugal, and other countries of southern Europe, but now they are occurring increasingly often in Poland. Argentina. From May 7th to May 9th, the central part of Argentina and the country's Atlantic coast were hit by a powerful extratropical cyclone caused by a cyclogenesis process. On May 7th, in the Las Flores district of Buenos Aires province, a tornado destroyed a house. As a result, 4 people were injured, including a child. In 24 hours, Mar del Plata received 105 millimeters of precipitation, which corresponds to almost 2 monthly norms for May. The streets were flooded and rescuers had to evacuate people from cars. The port and breakwaters were closed and all water sports were cancelled. In the city of Necochea, in less than 24 hours, 3 times more precipitation fell than usually falls in an entire month. Wind gusts intensified to 90 kilometers per hour and the height of coastal waves reached 7 meters. By the night of May 8th, in the city of Monte Hermoso, the storm surge destroyed the coastal dam, and waves washed away the rescue station. Water penetrated 2 blocks into the city, and most residents were left without electricity. In Villa del Mar, the tide rose to almost 6 meters, causing residential houses to be flooded. The evacuation of the population was carried out with the participation of naval forces and firefighters. The storm danger affected not only the coast but also maritime navigation. More than 170 foreign vessels took shelter off the coast of Argentina because of 12-meter waves and winds of up to 140 kilometers per hour. In the open sea, such conditions could have resulted in mass shipwrecks. The vessels were allowed to remain in the exclusive economic zone under the control of the naval prefecture until the weather stabilized. Japan. On May 4th, Japan faced an unseasonal weather contrast that coincided with Golden Week, one of the key periods for travel and recreation. In central Tokyo, the temperature reached 28.4 degrees Celsius, while in the suburbs, thermometers exceeded 30 degrees Celsius. Such heat is usually observed here from late June to mid-July, not in early May. Meanwhile, in the northern regions of the country, the weather resembled winter. In some places, the temperature dropped to 4 degrees Celsius and snow fell. Wind gusts exceeded 25 meters per second, while in the city of Shiroishi in Miyagi Prefecture, a squall with a speed of 30.3 meters per second was recorded. The wind caused serious consequences. In Wakayama Prefecture, a tree collapsed onto a residential house, and in the Kanto region, traffic on the Tokyo Bay Aqua Line was stopped for 15 hours. At Narita Airport, located in Chiba Prefecture, an aircraft was rocked by strong winds during its approach to landing, which prevented it from landing for a long time. In Kanagawa, a torn-off metal panel fell onto railway tracks, and train traffic had to be temporarily suspended. The heaviest snowfall was recorded in northern Hokkaido. In the town of Takinue, 11 centimeters of snow fell in 24 hours, making it the first such case in May in 30 years. Residents of the city of Wakanai compared the weather to winter. Sleet was observed, and the strong crosswind made it difficult even to hold an umbrella properly. Indonesia. On the morning of May 8th, Dukono volcano erupted on Halmahera Island in North Maluku province. A column of ash rose from the crater with an explosive sound to a height of about 10 kilometers, while local residents were not affected because there were no settlements nearby. Dukono is one of Indonesia's most active volcanoes, and since 2008 has had the second of 4 danger levels, while the exclusion zone around the crater extends 4 kilometers. Although the climbing area had been closed since April 17th due to increased volcanic activity, on May 8th, during the eruption, 20 climbers and tourists were on the slopes of Dukono. That same day, 17 people were evacuated. Some of them sustained minor injuries and burns. The search for the 3 missing people was complicated by ashfall, low visibility, and flying rock fragments. Due to the risk of new eruptions, rescuers periodically stopped their work and withdrew to safe zones. Later, drones were brought into the operation, including devices equipped with thermal imaging cameras. The next day, the 3 missing people were found with no signs of life. Their bodies were buried under piles of volcanic material and rocks, which made their evacuation extremely difficult. After the incident, the authorities launched an investigation to determine who had allowed the ascent along the closed route and whether there had been negligence on the part of the organizers or guides. The route had been closed, the danger zone had been marked, and warnings had been published. However, a group of tourists ignored the restrictions, headed to the crater, and ended up at the epicenter of a powerful eruption. According to the authorities, some participants may have gone to the volcano to film content. A representative of the Indonesian Association of Disaster Experts emphasized that such content gradually leads to a distorted perception of risk. People tend to underestimate the risk not because the volcano is actually safe, but because what they usually see are only successful ascents and descents followed by spectacular posts, while the potential threats remain hidden. The real danger remains and can manifest at any moment in the form of an ejection of scorching volcanic material, dense ash, gases, or a sudden explosive eruption. This is exactly what the tragedy at Dukono volcano demonstrated. No video, no matter how impressive it may be, is worth a human life. People who have found themselves face to face with death during a natural disaster later noted that in such moments, they understood especially clearly the transience and fragility of the entire material world, and the only thing they remembered on the edge was the value of their own life. Everything else becomes unnecessary. Everything fades into the background, because when life is lost, everything is lost.